Hello everybody, my name is Lucas and I tear down VR games, apps, and experiences to help you build better virtual reality. Today we're going to go over Skyworld, Kingdom Brawl. Skyworld is a card-based battle game. If you ever played Dota before, you basically are playing as a kingdom ruler and you are fighting other players. It's a multiplayer game, so you actually are fighting other live individuals, as well as you can, play against an AI bot. Now, this game unfortunately leaves a lot to be desired. And while it is a fun game, like I said, there is a lot to be desired, and we're going to dive through some of those right now. Before I go into the game, I do want to remind you about VR is someplace, which is my terrible acronym for how I diagnose and break down a lot of the user experience of virtual reality. V is for visuals. What am I seeing in the environment, the aesthetics? R is for relativity. How close or far are things away from me as a user? Are they close or are they far away? Are they within reach or are they out of reach? I is for interactivity. That involves the interactivity of the environment as well as with other players. How do I engage them? S is for sizing or proportions. How big or small are text, images, objects in relation to what they should be or would be in real life? S is for signals or cues. What little elements about the environment and or being directed to me are giving me signals on how I can interact with the environment or do things or what I should be doing. O is for onboarding. So how does the game let me know how to use the controls, what my objective is? M is for menus, administrative stuff. How do I just get to the menus? How do I interact with the menus? Things like that. E is for environment. So what does the environment look like? How am I interacting with the environment? P is for physics. What are the physics of the game? Are they simulating real life? Or are there other aspects about gravity, time, speed, light that can be manipulated or being used differently or uniquely? L is for locomotion or movement. How do I move around in the environment that I'm in? Or for sitting experiences, how do I move if I am sitting? A is for audio, which are what am I hearing? What are the sounds that are around me? Is direction or intensity being used to guide me as the user? Does it immerse me and add to the environment that I'm in? C is for controls. Literally, what are the controls? How intuitive are they? What do they do? How do I use them to further the objective? Lastly, E, exploration, which is what as a user do I discover about the environment or the controls? How do I know that I've discovered something new? Or how do I know what I can and can't interact with? These aspects about being thrown into a new world that I want to explore. So that is VR is someplace. And that is how I break down these user experiences. Let's dive on in. You should definitely keep that part in there. Okay. So I am loading up Skyworld Kingdom Brawl right now. And I actually uninstalled it and reinstalled it so that we could go through the onboarding together. Right now we're kind of getting a movie B-roll of the game developers loading. Great. So I do start hearing some kingdom sounds and I am immediately brought into a world that I am looking at. So even though I uninstalled it, it looks like it still logged me in, which is okay because the menu were not that fun to look at anyway, but I will get into that here. Right off the bat, I can tell because if I look around, there's nothing. Literally nothing. Everything is happening right in front of me. I will say right off the bat, if you are going to create a sitting experience, I understand the need to have the field of view as much as you want in the field of view, but if I'm in VR, I want my actual environment to be at least in front of me to 180 degrees, filled up with something. The sides can be unnecessary objects, but I want something to be in my peripherals so that when I'm dropped into this environment, I'm looking at something interesting. I'm looking at something that's worth looking at. That is a rule of thumb that I would say for all sitting experiences, that to basically isolate everything here basically completely defeats the purpose of having this entire immersive environment, or the space with which you can use. So along with the sounds, just listening here for a second. I can hear a river. I can hear some of the sounds of the mechanics over here. They're really not all that helpful. I mean, what I would have recommended for this situation is all of this to be giant, where if I've got a tank and a workshop and a blacksmithing mill and what looks like a port dock and then a castle, if all of this was real sized, and even if I didn't have to walk to it, it would have made a world of difference in terms of me being just this observer in this weird little menu versus actually having the menu be a space that I'm in. I will say I congratulate them on their menus not being flat screens and actually being objects, which is nice. But unfortunately, like I said, it kind of leaves some things to be desired. Now, in terms of these sizing aspects, if we look here, options and competitive, I don't know about you, but are very difficult for me to read right now. I can read friends and I can read deck, but competitive and options need to be about 1.5 times bigger text-wise for them to be clear, which unfortunately they're not. So let's actually kind of dive into some of the menus that I wanted to kind of talk about. This is unfortunately one of these things where point and click menus. I mean, again, I'm okay with the point and click if it's adding to the experience or if it's absolutely necessary, but in this case, it could have just as easily been I grab the blacksmith, or I grab the door to the friends, or I grab the door to the kingdom, or even if it was just a small little world environment here, I could just walk to the space and grab, open the door to the options menu. It didn't have to be big, but it could have been something there. It is kind of interesting to see my head here. I don't have any headgear on yet, but let's take a look at that. And all the menus that I'll go into are roughly the same, but let's go look here. So this is kind of neat how it shows me my hands. I don't know how useful it is to do that, but it is kind of nifty. I do like the tooltips here. The only challenge with these tooltips is that, and I'll get into it on some of the other ones, the tooltips aren't super helpful. These actually are not that bad, but the issue here is that they're kind of off to the side, so while I'm pointing here, I'm looking over there. And so I have to kind of keep my hand steady, otherwise I lose it. And especially if I'm down here and I'm keeping my hand here, it can be a quick mess up. Little things like that are just kind of annoying from a user experience perspective. So sky coins and gold, you gain gold by finishing a brawl. So these are other things where, a tooltip is nice. At the same time, these should be explained as you play the game, which unfortunately they're not. So let me just close out of that. Let's just go ahead and let's just dive into a game, just so I can kind of show you what the gameplay looks like without talking too much. Okay, looks like we matched with another online player. When I first got this game, actually there were hardly, looks like it didn't work. Maybe we're gonna run into the same issue. But when I first got this game, there were hardly any online players at the time, and so it would take 2 or 3, 4 minutes sometimes to find a person. And then it would say, oh, we don't have someone in your level, because apparently I'm level 4. Yep, unable to find beginner level players. I will say, again, this text is way too small. It definitely needs to be bigger. So I'll say yes, and let it see if it can find some other people. And in the meantime, I wait. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so if for two things. If for some reason I need to move this game, and you can barely see it happen, but when my hand comes over this, oh, okay. So when my hand turns into like a claw, I know that I've grabbed it. Ooh, looks like I've matched. Let's see what this game holds for us. Another loading screen. Okay, fair. The sounds start before the game is started. Sounds like a battle arena. Okay. So, hello, Daddy. What a perfect name. Just waiting for the other player. All right, let's go and just go through a battle here. Oh no. This guy's got a dragon coming for me. I need to get my battle balloons up here. Oh, damn it. I hate this. I hate this grip. Oh yeah, this game's already over. I've got almost no health left. You win, good sir. I have failed. Well, seems as though I've lost. However, it says, my liege, you have been awarded, so I still get some points, experience points, some gold, even though I've been bested, so I will continue, and I will go home. So, now that you've seen some of the gameplay here, I will do it again. I'm going to go through some of the mechanics while playing against an AI bot here, because I really don't care if I win or lose this match. So, a couple of things here. Let's say if I do need to move the board around, I can grab it. It is kind of finicky in terms of how I can grab it, but I really have to just hold it, and it gives me a little bit of haptic feedback knowing that I've selected it, and then I can grab and I can spin it, which is kind of nice. And this guy's got a big old robot here, so I'm gonna... You've drawn first blood, my liege. So this is kind of interesting on being able to move this around, and let's say I want to pick it up or drop it down. That is nifty. The problem here is that if I want to use my left hand, I run into the actual physical chair here, which can be mildly inconvenient. Wow, I'm getting slaughtered again. But while I'm getting slaughtered here, I've got these cards which I can grab and place, but I don't understand why I don't have like physical things like these cards should be here that I can grab, or I should be able to interact with the actual game space. That's the whole point of me being in the actual realm here. Let me just drop some more of these. I do... Oh, wow. I hella died. Okay, so if we think about the controls of the game, the cards are here, and I'm grabbing the cards and placing them down. While I do like the ability to place them down where I want to, it really... It's just, I mean, so I will say the controls, super simple. Grab, place, grab, place, grab, place, grab, place, grab, place. So from a controls perspective, it's actually super intuitive, super straightforward. One difficulty is putting the cards back, which I'll just show you there. Putting the cards back is a little bit challenging. I would love if I could have been able to enter the world and come back out of it. I think that would be, or if this environment here was me sitting in this actual castle here, and I could see the world out in front of me, or even see this from inside the castle. That would make me really feel like I was the king of this world, and I could see the individual players moving about, and I could see them physically out in front of me, as well as on the little mini field that would be in front of me as well. That would have been a really interesting game dynamic. It looks like I've been hit with a thunderstorm. Nope. So yeah, so if I want to put this back, I have to like get close enough to it and let it go. That is one downside there. Let me drop another dragon here, because that needs to get stopped now. Oh, see, if I click and let it go, it'll auto drop it, which is another downside here. So when you do destroy a tower, you do get this extra space that's yours now, which is kind of nice. But at the same time, it's still fairly challenging to get everything going over here. And I'm just going to mount an all-out assault on this side, because I'm about to lose another tower, and I cannot afford that. Yep, I knew that was going to happen.
Our general is under attack.
I don't care. So really, this is it. This is the whole game, which is, you know, fun as it is. You know, this is pretty much the entirety of the game. And while I will say, you know, each game is unique in who you're playing against, even if it's an AI bot, because the cards come up randomly. This is really all there is to it. And so, candidly, the gameplay itself is interesting while you're playing it, but it's not. Oh, it looks like we're going to run out of time, and it looks like I'm going to lose, because I have less health, and I've lost more stuff. So we'll just wait this out and enjoy the remainder of the time. So in terms of the other aspect here, these little X's, they don't actually signify anything. I thought that maybe it was click on X and it would do something, but so that little X piece is a little confusing. Even though I lose, I still get rewarded, which is kind of nice. Okay, so let me go into some of the menu stuff. I'll go into each of these menus and kind of talk about things. So friends, the issue here is, of course, this is my friend ID. To add a friend, I need to literally put in their full name, which is a little ridiculous. How am I ever going to know who that is? Let's say I go to the competitive. This is if I am part of a competitive game. As you can see here, these are much, much too small. I can't even read them, and they're less than, you know, an arm's length away. So it looks like these are respective clans, and these are the tournaments that are going on with some individuals. I'm poorly ranked, as you can see. And if we go to global leaderboard, I am poorly ranked, as you can see. But for what little I've played, I'm surprised that I'm one of 3,000 players that has gotten to this point. So I'll close out of that. Not much going on there. I go to the options. So again, kind of a click and point menu in terms of what I'm doing. English, master volume, music, reset tutorial. Oh, okay, well, I'll do that here in a second. So here's the deck. Again, these are so small. I mean, way too small to actually read or use. So on the sizing of things, I mean, that is not very good. And again, another menu, flat screen. I really wish these were items, little people. I mean, you've already got the 3D model for this card or this person in the deck. Why not have that model just physically here or blown up so that I can see what I'm looking at? And then the stats that pull up over here, which unfortunately have no context. Hit points 15. Does that mean it takes 15 damage? Okay, so it delivers 3, and it's cooldown. I don't know what cooldown is. I get count is 6. I figured out that means it's going to deploy 6, which is nice. And then targets, I'm guessing that's castles and other players, but even this here is very unintuitive. I really wish that these had just been people, because this whole deck aspect, it really feels like this was a 2D mobile game that was turned into a 3D game for, unfortunately, no particular reason. Again, these also, so they have tooltips, which are nice, but it says here, you know, internal fire. A unit is immune to burn, but has less health. Well, how much less health? So I actually have to grab it and then put it on something, and then I can see, oh, it takes away 1 health. And then I've got to grab it again to pull it off. And I actually didn't even know these little icons things here were elements that I could add to the tokens until like the 4th or 5th game that I had already played. This whole deck system just really leaves a lot to be desired. Even here with the menus, so this is my deck, and if I want to build stuff, I can craft. So, you know, these are some other things that I can make. And again, Battle Tank, I mean, seriously, guys, this had been so easy to just have these show up in front of me and, you know, look at the monsters that I could create instead of having this deck system here. This was, unfortunately, really, really lazy UI UX. So, and again, as you can see here, if I hover over it, oh, come on. I literally can't even read it. It's a catapult, you know the drill, it flings and destroys. So this sizing is all off on this one. Let me go ahead and reset the tutorial so we can see what our onboarding looks like. So let's go into that. Yes. I will give them the credit for allowing the tutorial to be reset. I think that should be an option in every single game. So I will give them the props on the resetting the tutorial. So, Lord Wadsworth, welcome to Skyworld, Kingdom Brawl. Before you start playing, you might want to view your deck in the deck menu on your right. I see that there should be text here. This person is blurry. I don't know who Lord Wadsworth is or how he's related to me. I don't know why this wasn't just read to me. Or it could have been a scroll that was delivered to me. There's so many little aspects here that could have been done, but we'll go ahead and click on the deck. Current deck, these are the cards you will use. So the onboarding here is almost entirely based on text and clicking. So the area to the left, not much to see here. Let's change that, select the crafting. So it says select the crafting. I get no tooltip. How do I know which one's crafting? I'm guessing well enough. So I can place blueprints on the machine. Okay, your treasury already has some gold, so feel free to craft. Okay, once you're set. Okay, so I can craft some stuff, so let's see. So I have to figure out that I take this and drop it over here. Well, that doesn't do it. Why is it broken? Because it's got to go down here. So then it pulls up and shows me what it is. I mean, this is, like I said, much to be desired. So I'll go ahead and craft it. Now I've got something in my deck. I come here and I see this. So this is a dragon for 6 and a wyvern for 4. So let's see if I've got something. I'll take out the sharpshooter. Oh, I just hover over and replace it. And that's it there. So if I close out of this, oh yeah, I can't remember what the menu guy told me to do. Oh, I guess he wants me to brawl. Oh, that's right, because I'm doing the tutorial, so the only thing that I can do is brawl. And it will just take me into an AI game where it shows me how to play the game. So with your cards in one hand, use the trigger in the other to grab your cards you wish to deploy. Okay, so I want to, let me drop one of the wyverns. Let's see. When dropped inside your territory, your unit comes alive and spells will be cast. Okay. Costs mana, so keep an eye on your mana counter between your cards. Destroy the enemy base to win. Like I said, this is the whole game. So it seems as though the hand tracking's gotten a little off here, and I can, you know, just pull the trigger to grab them, which I guess is kind of nice, but also kind of silly, because it's like, if I've got a deck of cards, why would I point and click to pull it in? And there's no tutorial on this part, which is kind of nice, because it does give a little bit of that self, you know, exploration part of it, which is fun. But this mechanic, again, is not anything worth desiring. And my double dragons here are pretty cool. I like my double dragons. Yay! Whee! May your battle be forever victorious. Okay, cool. Continue. Let's see what I've got next. So menus are terrible, unfortunately. The controls are nice. I would say the controls simplicity is always your key, so they did a good job with that. The physics, I mean, there's not really a whole lot that's going on. I just dropped the players in here. Time moves as normal, so the physics are almost really not applicable. The environment, again, also leaves a lot to be desired. A lot of little things that could have been done really well that were, it looks like just done for speed to get the game out. In terms of movement, there is no locomotion. I mean, I can physically get up and move into the space, but there's not really a need to do that. The onboarding is okay at best. The interactivity, I mean, is really just point and click. The sizing of things needs to be much better. So yeah, this is it. I mean, as unfortunate as it is, and I'm gonna take the headset off and kind of wrap this up here. Okay, so that is Skyworld Kingdom Brawl. In conclusion, this is a game that absolutely 100% needs to be a mobile game. The challenge that it's got is that I paid full price for the game in order to get it, to play it. This is not a pay-for-once game. This is a Clash of Clans, Angry Birds type of game, where as I play, I can in-app purchase, pay to get more. And unfortunately, Oculus just isn't there yet. The Oculus Store doesn't allow in-app purchases to be done yet and allow developers to build that into the game. I mean, it's not my kind of game. Just breaking down the user experience though, like I said, it leaves a lot on the table that it could have done. So the game itself, I think from a concept is great. I mean, it reminds me of Dota or World of Warcraft, where you are this overlord watching from a third-person perspective, commanding an army. And there's a lot that can be done with that. However, the developers shortcutted a lot of stuff. But what you can take from it is what not to do, in my opinion. So there's a lot of things that they did that I would highly recommend you not do. That includes things like the flat point-and-click menus, text onboarding, small text sizes, non-interactive environments. If it's a sitting experience, which is okay to have. I mean, sitting experiences are not bad. We need them. But encapsulate my 180 field of view with something. If I had to give it a real immersion score, I mean, it is quite frankly a 1. The only thing that I think that they did well, in my opinion, from a user experience perspective, is have the 3D animations that I could command and see and look over. So that part I think they did well, and I actually quite enjoyed that. But again, I think it would be really interesting if I could see that while I was sitting inside of the kingdom that was actually being attacked, that I was, commanding. That would have been a next level kind of engagement, would really made it fun to have played. So that's all I got for you today. Again, this was Skyworld Kingdom Brawl. If you liked this video or if you learned something, please feel free to like and subscribe. I'm gonna continue to do more of these to help you build better VR. If you thought I missed something or want me to evaluate something, leave a comment below, and I'm more than happy to review any apps or experiences or games that you're looking at potentially doing. And until next time, game on!